Hey there, I, Zak Wolf, need to repeat something regarding the current grim situation for PBS. To start off, PBS did not just shut down, but what did was the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, after 58 years of providing federal funding to public educational programming. And yes, you may recall me mentioning this had something to do with that bill that Congress and our current president passed, cutting fundings for public media, namely PBS and NPR. But even with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting having shut down, PBS is not licked, and they posted this in their social media. PBS still has public television contributors like us to support them. You all probably remember how typically at PBS programming they mentioned how, in addition to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, funding is provided by financial contributions from viewers like you, and often thank us for that. Heck, like I said in my last vlog on this subject, I've even made a few donations to my local PBS affiliate, none other than WGBH Boston. I mean, the PBS Kids programming really helped shape me and my brother during our childhoods. From Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to Sesame Street to Shine Time Station to the Magic School Bus to, of course, Arthur. Even the first season of Barney and Friends, as that was when we were still really little, before we started to get into the anti-Barney humor, thanks to Animaniacs. But here's how deep this can go. Thanks to Sesame Street, I could even read some words by the time I started preschool, like signs and very short, simple sentences, such as storefronts, street signs like stop and one way, and even danger high voltage signs, as Sesame Street indeed taught me to recognize and read such lettering. Also, in addition to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, additional funding for several PBS educational shows can come from a variety of different organizations, such as the U.S. Department of Education, the Carnegie Corporation New York, the Ford Foundation, the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation, and the Civil Society Institute. And not just them, but even commercial organizations such as Libby's Juicy Juice, a funding sponsor for Arthur for many years. And even Chuck E. Cheese is funding shows like Barney and Friends and Wishbone and Clifford the Big Red Dog and even Arthur. But while it got to the point where they'd even conclude with the announcer saying PBS Kids, where a kid can be a kid, which is actually the Chuck E. Cheese's corporate slogan. And again, besides all those and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, this is made possible by financial support from public television viewers like me. Also, besides me and my brother, my mom is still a fairly avid PBS watcher. She regularly watches their news hour. She's also a fan of their cooking shows, going all the way back to The French Chef with Julia Child, along with Masterpiece Theater and Mystery. But anyways, nostalgia aside, I hope we don't get a generation of children who won't be able to grow up with Sesame Street, or Arthur, or Daniel's Tiger Neighborhood, or Cyber Chase, or Carl the Collector, or something. And as such, their learning and skills could be impaired by the time they start school. But I do have a feeling that sometime in the future, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting could be revived, maybe sometime after our current president leaves office. But until then, we've got to keep donating to our local PBS affiliates. I'll know I'll keep doing so as long as I can afford it, as it feels good to give a little to them, returning the favor for educating me when I was a cub. Kind of the joy get from giving Christmas presents to friends and family, I'll be sharing such links again in the video description if you want to donate. Remember that even with the Corporation for Public Broadcasting was around, they'd still thank viewers for their financial support. I'm old enough to remember when Arthur was a brand new show in its first season, and DW would actually say that funding spiel in voiceover, along with the other organizations providing funding.
Funding for Arthur is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you, the National Endowment for Children's Educational Television, and by the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations.
Additionally, we now have Netflix also kind of helping fund Sesame Street for simultaneously streaming the show there alongside airing on PBS First Run compared to the HBO days. But that wraps up my little rant here. As always, keep watching this YouTube channel and don't forget to donate to your local PBS affiliate if you can.